Parashat Beshalach begins with a battle against Paro and his army and ends with a battle against Amalek. Although only a few weeks separate these two events, they are very different in nature, and some of the differences between them illustrate the progress that has taken place in Israel's situation since leaving Egypt and being freed of their fear of their oppressors at Kiryat Yamsuf. Bnei Israel's journey from Mitzrayim to Har Sinai was certainly not easy. Instead of the anticipated cheerful 3-day journey, Bnei Israel endured several weeks of life-threatening situations, including lack of food and water and military attacks by both Mitzrayim and Amalek. Did something go wrong, or were all of these events part of Hashem's original plan? Furthermore, if these were tests of faith, were part of Hashem's plan, did Hashem really expect Bnei Israel not to complain? In order to answer these questions, we're going to analyze the nature of these events that occur from the time of Bnei Israel leaving Mitzrayim until they reach Har Sinai. To appreciate the specific purpose of each individual event, we must first consider why Bnei Israel had not performed proper teshuvah in Egypt. We all know how difficult it is for an individual to change his character, all the more so from an entire nation. Therefore, the rebuilding of Am Yisrael's character becomes a very complex process. This background can help us understand the need for the variety of events that transpire from the time that Bnei Israel leave Egypt. So there are two ways that you can change your behavior. A traumatic experience, mikra traumati, which may facilitate a sudden change, or mishne et shigrat hayom yom, a change of daily routine, which affects instinctive behavior. In Perek Yudaled, Pasuk Yud Aleph, we talk about Kiryat Yamsuf. Ufaro hikriv vayis'u b'nei Yisrael et enehem v'hinei Mitzrayim noseh acharehem vayir'u mi'od vayit'aku b'nei Yisrael el Adonai vayomeru el Moshe hamibli em kivarim b'Mitzrayim lekachtanu lamut b'midbar ma zot asinu lanu l'hotzi'enu mi'Mitzrayim. It becomes clear that Bnei Yisrael wished that they were back in Mitzrayim. They had slave mentality. So what Hashem did, Perek Yudaled Pasuk Lamed, Vayosha Adonai Vayomahu et Yisrael miyad Mitzrayim Vayar Yisrael et Mitzrayim met al Sefat Hayam. He made sure that Bnei Yisrael saw that the Mitzrim died. Vayar Yisrael et Hayad Gedolah asher asa Adonai b'Mitzrayim Vayir'u ha'am et Adonai Vaya'aminu ba'Adonai u'Moshe avdo. Instinctively, Hashem made a traumatic experience, and Bnei Israel responded with a song of praise to Hashem. Perek Te'avav, Pasuk Chaf Bet Chaf Gimel, we arrive at Marah. Vayasa Moshe et Yisrael miyamsuf, vayetzu el midbar shur, vayelchu sheloshet yamim b'midbar v'lo matzu mayim. Vayavo marata v'lo yaharlu lishot mayim mimarah, ki marim hen, al ken karashim Marah. After crossing the Yamsuf, Bnei Israel set out on their 3-day journey into the desert. However, instead of arriving at Har Sinai, they arrive at Marah, where the only water they could find is bitter and therefore undrinkable. As we'd expect, the people complain to Moshe and he turns to Hashem. As their complaints appear to be justified, Hashem provides Moshe with a solution to sweeten the water. Hashem realizes that the people could not survive without water, but he took them there in order that they would complain. Hashem is teaching the nation not to take their water supply for granted. Rather, it now becomes clear to them that their physical survival is dependent upon God. Matarat gufi hisamech al borei olam. Furthermore, by linking the sweetness of the water to their readiness to obey Hashem's laws, Hashem teaches Bnei Israel an important lesson of spiritual dependence. Matarat ruhani hisamech al borei olam. The connection between water and following Hashem will emerge numerous times in the Chumash and forms the basis of the famous Midrash in Chazal, En Mayim Ele Torah. Midbar Sin, Perek Te'zayin, Pesukim Bet Ad Gimel. Vayelonu kol adat b'nei Yisrael al Moshe v'al Haron b'midbar. Vayomeru elehem b'nei Yisrael, mi yiten mutenu b'yad Adonai, v'eretz Mitzrayim b'shiftenu al sir habasar v'ochlenu lechem lasavoa. After arriving in Midbar Sin, the food supply runs out, triggering another round of complaints. Even though Bnei Israel have the right to ask for food, the way they do it is inexcusable. The very tone of their complaint indicate that Bnei Israel had retained their instinctive dependence upon Mitzrayim. Their instinctive reaction to this terrible hunger includes reminiscing about the good old days in Egypt. The trauma they had experienced heretofore was not sufficient to totally change their character. To rectify this, Hashem will force them into a daily routine that will hopefully slowly change their instinctive behavior. The manna served this very purpose, as it provided a daily routine that transformed once their physical dependence on Mitzrayim into a physical dependence on Hashem, as it says in Sefer Devarim. וינחה ויריבך ויאכילך את המן אשר לא ידעת ולא ידעון אבותיך למען הודיעך כי לא על הלחם לבדו יחיה האדם כי על כל מוצא פי אדוני יחיה האדם. By allowing only food for one day at a time, Bnei Israel learned to become dependent only on Hashem. To emphasize this point, their food falls directly from Shamayim. Note how the Torah uses the key word nisayon in its description of the purpose of the manna. The word nisayon is not understood as a test, but as obedience. Its purpose of this nisayon was to raise the nation to a higher level in their relationship with Hashem. Refidim, Perek Zayin, Pasuk Aleph and Gimel. Vayisu kol adat bnei Yisrael mimidbar sin lemasehem al pi Adonai v'yachanu b'refidim ve'en mayim l'shtot ha'am. וירב העם עם משה ויאמרו תנו לנו מים ונשתה ויאמר להם משה מה תריבון עמדי מה תנסון את אדוני ויצמא שם העם למים וילן העם אל משה ויאמר למה זה העליתנו ממצרים להמית אותי ואת בניי ואת מקנה בצמא. The next stop in their journey and their last stop before arriving at Har Sinai is Refidim, where they can't find any water to drink. But why does Hashem lead them to such a location? Certainly he realizes that Bnei Yisrael cannot survive without water. Once again, Hashem wants Bnei Yisrael to complain. Hashem instructs Moshe to hit the rock, and it would supply water. But we would expect that rock, and hence the water source, to be in Refidim, where the people are suffering from thirst. Instead, Hashem instructs Moshe to gather elders and travel from Refidim to the rock. ויאמר אדוני אל משה עבור לפני העם וקח איתך מזקני ישראל ומעתך אשר הכת בו את היאור קח בידך והלכת. I want you to think, lama hamateh, why does he have to bring his mateh? Lama hamateh she'alka bo hayeor. Hineni omen lefanecha sham al hatzor bechored, v'hikita bitzor v'yitz'u mimenu mayim v'shata ha'am v'ya'as ken Moshe le'nei ziknei Yisrael. Bnei Yisrael are going to walk from Refidim to Horeb. One could suggest that Hashem is providing water purposely only at Har Sinai, for he wants the nation to first encounter Har Sinai as a source for their physical salvation that will quench their terrible thirst. By providing water at Har Sinai, the nation will now eagerly travel from Refidim directly to Har Sinai. After this initial encounter with Sinai as their source for physical existence, Har Sinai will later become the site of Matan Torah, the source for their spiritual existence. Not only has heaven replaced earth as a source of bread, but also Har Sinai has replaced the Nilus as a constant source of water. Vayavo Amalek v'yilachem im Yisrael b'Refidim. As Bnei Israel begin their journey from Refidim to Har Sinai, Amalek attacks. War breaks out, and God orders that Yehoshua lead Bnei Israel to battle. I want you to look through the Pesukim and answer the following questions. Madua yesh lanu mitzvah le'emchot et Amalek? Mi hilachem? Epo omed Moshe? Uma oseh Moshe?